but we're all about standards and values here at Smacking Off.
I'm the greatest smack talker on the fucking face of the earth right now.
You're just jealous of my shine.
Dane's in there tripping on acid, man. This is going to be a great episode.
I try to do my part, guys.
SEC player of the year, bro. Come on, that's like being the smartest kid in your special ed class. Don't ain't nobody take that seriously.
Are you pooping?
I believe that's what they call it.
You're pooping. I don't hear pee sounds, dude. You're making...
Those Iowa beats so bad, damn brains out.
No, USC is far better than Oklahoma historically.
Don't be ridiculous right now.
You fucking talk
What the fuck are you saying about the SEC, bro?
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
Meatloaf is moist as my pussy gets. I promise you that.
Jesus Christ, that hurt. I'm still going to have it.
Smacking off the podcast.
Man, make sure like I got on.
Bro, I'm gonna be a SoundCloud rapper, bro.
That is the best thing you've ever said on this show. And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with my co-host, producer, Mr. Doug Phillips. How are you this evening?
I'm good.
We are going to go straight into, because we're talking about one of the biggest games, probably of the whole entire college football year, at least the regular season. Ohio State goes up to Happy Valley and faces Penn State. Both teams are balling right now, looking really good. This one right here is going to be too close for me to call. But I've got two fellas on right now that definitely want to talk about it and state their case. We've got one, Mr. Chris Scully. How are you this evening?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. He'll be repping Penn State, and of course our. I guess we could say he's our resident Buckeye now. We don't have a resident Buckeye. So Alex Bryan is definitely our resident Buckeye. Alex, how are you doing tonight?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. How much cold medicine are you on? How many
Not
milligrams?
enough, dude.
You need
I
more
literally
milligrams?
got through sneezing for like 10 minutes before.
Oh, man.
Before I got this webcam call. So
I'm going to hook you up with Andrea. She's got that good shit. She's sipping on,
give me all that good
she's
shit.
sipping on that scissor tonight. Yeah.
God, I need it.
Yeah, hardcore. All right, guys, let's talk about this. This is an absolutely huge, massive game. Lots of interesting backstories. Alex, I'm going to go with you real quick because Urban's back. Urban's back on the squad.
Yes, he is. God bless it. Thank
of course,
God.
Ohio State looked like they didn't need him, even in a pretty lopsided, convincing win against TCU.
Well, he was there. He was there during preparation, though.
Yeah.
So
and honestly, I mean, I was kind of unimpressed with our game against Tulane. So, I mean, I get your point.
hard to get up for those kind of games, though.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, you've also got a lot of kids that haven't played, are lining up, and that's
honestly, it just made me worried about if Haskins ever goes down because I don't know if Martell's quite up to par yet. We'll see.
Well, you beat them in a much more convincing fashion than UAB did. So
yeah, well,
UAB actually did beat Tulane. That's a true story.
Don't talk shit about my Blazers, by the way. That's my thing.
Hey, I'm just glad they're a football program again.
I am too. Of course, UAB's right down the road from us. They actually play games here in town at the old ancient Iron Bowl, Legion Field.
We would go down there, but we're kind of scared the stadium's going to fall in.
That is not only that, but I mean that's a pretty rough neighborhood.
Get robbed on the way out. Yeah.
They used to call it old historic.
Get robbed of 3 hours of your time watching the game and then get robbed on the way out for your fucking money. Madden's not. He ain't laughing.
No, because I'm just thinking about the parking situation over there too.
Yeah.
Hey man, park in my yard.
Yeah, $15.
Yeah, $15 right now. I'll watch your car all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he will.
Watch you get robbed.
Yeah. Man, it had 3 tires on it when you pulled up here. Don't be trying to pull that.
Yeah.
I should charge you more money. I'll let you stay longer. Yeah.
Scully, what's your impression of this game?
Well, I mean, it like you guys said, it's a huge game. The winner of this game, the past 2 years, have gone on to win the Big Ten championship. Like I said, I think it's one of the biggest games in college football this year. I mean, the hype value of it. Penn State's, they're back, among top elite, for the past couple years.
The winner of this game, has a good shot at getting into the CFP, in my opinion.
They really do. Particularly if they go in either undefeated or with one narrow
That's
loss.
kind of funny because you say that Penn State beat Ohio State 2 years ago. They missed out. Ohio State beat us last year. They missed out.
Just for that reason. That's just for that reason.
Think, well, I think probably because, when Ohio State went in above us back in 2016, they got blanked by Clemson. So I think the committee didn't want to, risk having
we actually talked about that at length on this show. We really feel like Ohio State got shut out last year of the CFP, which was kind of unprecedented because of their performance the year before. Which really is, if you think about and think what how the playoff committee selects teams and this, that, and the other, it's very odd that you would penalize a team for something that happened the year before. But we're also talking about matchups that are gonna equal ratings. There's a lot of money tied up in this.
At Iowa.
About the money.
At Iowa.
Yeah, at Iowa. That's really. Let's be honest. That's really what shut them out.
2 years ago, it was my opinion that both Ohio State and Penn State should have been in. I thought Penn State should have gotten over Washington, but they saw the conference championship for Washington and decided that wasn't the case. But I always thought both of them should have been in because
I don't know. Washington won the CFP, didn't they?
Well, they were a good team that year, but Penn State, they had a blowout loss to the team up north, which I felt kept them out along with that loss to Pitt. But in my opinion, they should have put both of them in because Washington's resume I didn't think matched up to Penn State's or Ohio State's. But that was just me.
That kind of reminded me when Saban refers to Auburn, that team down there. Yeah. I like that. That was so snazzy.
He actually says Auburn
before I say their name appropriately.
Well, because Auburn beat them last year, I think that's probably. You got to give them a little bit of props.
You're talking about Eastern Michigan, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those Eagles, man.
Central Michigan.
Oh, sorry, Central Michigan.
Yeah. Get your Michigan straight.
All right. Here's what I want to hear from both of you guys. At one at a time, I want to know what players do. I'm going to watch this game. I have not watched either of these teams through a whole game this year yet, but I will definitely
I've
be
seen
watching
bits and pieces of Ohio State, but I've not watched except for a few highlight reels. I've not really watched Penn State as a whole. So, Chris Scully, I want to start with you first.
What players?
Who do we need to be looking out for on the Penn State roster?
Well, you got your obvious players. Trace McSorley. I think he's underrated because after this year, he probably will be the best quarterback ever to play at Penn State. By the numbers. Miles Sanders has been doing great. I think he's filled Saquon Barkley's shoes pretty well.
It's a big shoes to fill on
that game against Illinois last week. Mm-hmm. He's not as elusive as Barkley, maybe not as athletic, but he's got speed and he can pull you over. So, but here's the thing, and nobody has really talked about this, but Tommy Stevens is back this week, and he's played as a lion position on offense. And I just looked at his stats for the past couple of years. He has touched the ball like 38 times and put up 387 yards rushing and has 8 touchdowns. No, 9. I'm sorry, he has 9 touchdowns in the past 2 years. So he comes in basically like a wildcat formation that we run. And then we got Justin Shorter coming in. He hasn't played in the first 4 games, and he's a true freshman, number 1 receiver in the country. He's 6'4", 227. He was the number 1 receiver in the country last year, 8th overall in the nation, number 1 receiver in the state of New Jersey, obviously. And they're back. And I think Franklin kept them out just so that Ohio State couldn't scout what they were going to do. Because I think Franklin's going to he's going to have to throw the book at Ohio State.
Real quick, throw a few defensive names out too.
What's that?
What's it looking like on the defensive side of the ball? Who do we need to be looking at?
Well, the defense I mean, as far as I watched the defense this year, they kind of play sloppy, especially in the first half. But after the second half, after, Prime makes his adjustments, they've been pretty, they've improved. Like, they've only allowed 7 points in the fourth quarter all year.
Yeah, that's a good
And that 7 points was against Appalachian State. And so they can be pretty elusive. I think if Pry's smart, he's probably gonna look over and probably put his best defensive players in, as far as overall. I mean, Mika Parsons was like highly, highly rated last year coming in. He's a true freshman playing linebacker this year.
Right.
And a lot of young defensive talent we have. So I think, as the game goes on and everything, I think Penn State's defense will probably tighten up towards the end.
This is boring. We won't catch anything today. I'm going home.
Oh, Jesus, stop! How on earth are you doing that?
What do you mean?
Well, you're walking on water.
I think he's had a Red Bull. You know, it gives him wings.
No, this has nothing to do with Red Bull.
What? Not another of your miracles?
It's no miracle. You just have to know where the stepping stones are. Oh, Jesus.
Alex, tell us about the players to watch on both sides of the ball.
I could say the same about Ohio State's defense. That'd be great. I could be basic and just say Dwayne Haskins, but I feel like that's a no-brainer. So I'm going to go with, on offense, the biggest players to watch are J.K. Dobbins and Mike Weber. Unfortunately, at least to me, our rushing attack hasn't been Buckeye-like, I'll say, because usually we've been pretty heavy on running backs and using them, except in big games where we seem to go away from the run at the worst time. But this year, I mean, we got a double-headed monster there at running back, and we only rank, I want to say, 27th in the country right now, averaging like 233.3 yards per game. Penn State is actually 10th in rushing offense this year with 275 yards per game. So I feel like we have the running backs to be a top 10 rushing offense, and right now we're just not using them as much. And that probably has to do with Haskins throwing the ball as well as he has, because, I mean, he's just been slinging it all over the place. But with Penn State, we're going to have to rely on J.K. Dobbins and Mike Weber because their rush defense is one of their weaknesses. They rank 82nd in the country, allowing 172.5 yards per game. Now, I mean, we're just going to have to run the ball on them a lot more than we have this season thus far. Obviously, we're going to use Dwayne Haskins. We're going to pass the ball, even though Penn State's pass defense there, I want to say it was ranked like 29th. So their pass defense is better than ours this year. So we're gonna have to take some risks there, but ultimately we got to use the run to set up the pass. So it's definitely going to be J.K. Dobbins and Mike Weber as the guys to watch there on offense. Defensively, though, I actually just heard a stat today that kind of blew my mind. Last week against Tulane, none of our starting linebackers had a tackle. And that just, I mean, you can look at that one of two ways. You can either look at it as A, wow, these linebackers really aren't that great. How did they not get one tackle? Or B, the defensive line just really held it down.
That's the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
In a winning effort. I mean, if you get slaughtered.
Even without Nick Bosa, like, to not allow any of your linebackers to get one tackle, that kind of blew my mind a little bit.
Well, let's not start sucking each other's dicks yet. I mean, we are talking about Tulane.
Yeah, of course, but even still, against an easier opponent, you would think that pretty much everybody would get a tackle on defense.
True.
But I don't know. I mean, and I've said this since game one. Obviously, this reminds me a lot of last year's and 2013's defense, where the back seven just isn't up to par. That's why I thoroughly expect Penn State to get at least over 350, 400 yards on us total. It's not going to surprise me one bit.
Is that going to be enough to win the game, though, you think?
It really depends. If Trace McSorley can do what he does best, they have an amazing shot. They're going to carve us up. I know that's going to happen. We can carve them up, too. It's going to be a very high-scoring game. I would be surprised if both teams were held under, 35 points. That would really surprise me.
Yeah.
What channel is this game going to be on?
That's going to be on ABC.
Okay, ABC owes us at least $35 because you just gained more viewers for this game, at least 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's definitely going to be a higher scoring game. I expect it to be more like last year's game with how close it was than 2 years ago. Obviously, 2 years ago we led a lot of the game, and then special teams miscues happened, and Penn State got all the momentum. I don't think it's going to be like that type of a game. I think it's going to be just punching each other in the gut.
Two warriors slugging it out all the way until the very end, until somebody just finally pulls it back.
I think if it's a low-scoring game, Penn State's got a better shot at winning this game if it's a low-scoring game.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a high-scoring game, watch out. It's going to be a heavyweight bout, man.
The biggest thing that I think is in our favor is the fact that we've taken care of the ball so well. We've only turned it over twice this year, and we've had 7 takeaways, I believe, total. So turnover margin of 5.
Nice.
From what I didn't even really dive into it too much, but I saw that Penn State has 6 takeaways this year so far and 5 turnovers. So turnover margin
turn the ball quite a lot.
If we can force Penn State into turnovers, that'll be the biggest thing. We need to just go all out on that. Obviously, without Nick Bosa, that's going to be a little bit tougher, but we still have a lot of guys on that defensive line that can make mistakes. But really, it's the back 7 that worries me because I know that Trace McSorley is going to have a field day with them. It just, this is going to be Haskins' really first tough test. I mean, he went down to TCU. It was practically a home game for them, but 70% of the stadium was Buckeye fans.
Yep, that's
so
true
it was practically a home game. You're not going to get that at Happy Valley. It's going to be white.
Chris, he just reminded me of what I want to ask you. This is going to be a whiteout game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay. What does that mean for Penn State? And what has it meant for Penn State?
Everything. I mean, you're going to have, a lot of players, former players, said Happy Valley is probably one of the toughest places to play in college football because of last year's Ohio State game was over 110,000 attended. So that's a lot of a lot of Penn State fans are going to be screaming. And what Alex was saying, this is going to be the real big test for Haskins. And I actually watched Haskins' highlight reel from this year. Don't get me wrong, the boy can sling the ball on a rope. But what I noticed was the majority of those plays, they only had 3 to 4 men rushing him. So if Penn State, if Pride can come up with blitz packages and put pressure on that kid, because the kid, Haskins only has 9 carries for 18 yards or 20 yards or something.
Yeah,
he's not a scrambling quarterback. Yeah. So if Penn State can put pressure on him and blitz him all night, that's how we'll have to get to Haskins. That's how we'll have to force him to make mistakes, just like Ohio State's going to have to do something to make McSorley make mistakes.
I'm thinking back to 2016, and this game was in Happy Valley. And if my memory serves me correctly, Ohio State outplayed Penn State in that game, did they not?
We had more total yards. It was basically all the stats were in our favor,
except for that blocked field goal.
Then in the punt that they got good field position on the block punt. Yeah, it came to that, and then, I mean, give it to them. They took over. Trace McSorley said, okay, let's put the knife in their throat. That's exactly what they did.
Well, a lot of people don't remember that when that blocked field goal happened, there was still very much time on that clock. Mm-hmm. And Penn State's defense, along with the crowd backing them, stopped Ohio State from driving and possibly, winning that game. So I think it had a little bit more to do than just that block punt, because Penn State's defense held very well.
They had plenty of time left to win the game.
Oh, they had like 3 minutes left.
And JT Barrett missed some throws, unfortunately. But he made up for it the year after, though.
I'm going to use this as a sound effect.
I tell you what,
I like that.
JT Barrett last year against us, I mean, he gave us a Heisman performance. That
unfortunately he didn't follow it up so well, but I mean, I'll always remember him going perfect in the fourth quarter for throwing and what he did.
Yeah, he lit us up, man.
All right, guys.
The thing though, Penn State. See, here's what was the trouble with Franklin. Franklin has a tendency of going conservative when he's up big, and I think he learned his lesson about that. Because a lot of Penn State fans are kind of like, from what I heard talk about Penn State fans, they're kind of getting a little bit, pissy with Franklin, saying how he called for a review with a minute left when Ricky Slade fumbled the ball, how he kicked a field goal with a minute left in the game, being up by 40 points.
You are now listening to Smacking Off the Podcast. Like and comment on our damn videos. Subscribe to our fucking channel. I really hate you dumb fuckers need to be told that. You should have already subscribed. Jesus fucking Christ.
So I think Franklin may have gotten over that. Because, if you watch the game last year, when Penn State had the lead, Ohio State lined up 9 guys on the line. And because they knew the ball was going to Barkley, and they just shut our running game right down. We couldn't answer back. He went too conservative. I don't know if that was him or Moorhead's fault, but I was thinking, my God, you're running 9 guys up on the line of scrimmage. I mean, you're going to run the ball, you're going to get stopped. There's no way, especially against the talent that Ohio State had that year. There's no way. Kind of blew that game last year.
Well, let's go ahead and get the score predictions. This is going to be a tough one to call, I think. Chris Scully, you're up.
All right, this is how I'm predicting the game. All right, first quarter, Penn State, Ohio State, they're going to be like boxers, filling each other out, seeing what they're doing. Second quarter, it's going to start getting a little bit better of a game, more scoring. Third quarter, it's going to be close, but I think here's where it comes. I think Penn State's defense tightens up in the fourth with the crowd behind them. I see Penn State pulling away from Ohio State. My final score prediction is 42-31.
Interesting. Alex, Bryan, you're up.
If Ohio State can get its run attack going like I know it can, and Dwayne Haskins continues to play mistake-free football, I think going into the third quarter, we'll be up a couple scores, but we will unfortunately let our foot up a little bit and let it get close in the end. So my score prediction would be 42-38 Ohio State. I think it'll be that close at the end, and probably Penn State will have the ball last, and they'll drive down the field and we'll make a key stop. That's how it'll win.
That's interesting.
Excellent.
Well, I will definitely be watching both of these teams.
You gonna put money on this game?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put some money on some beer.
Okay.
You know what's funny was, let me just add this. I saw Penn State came out as 4-point underdogs. I was like, you know how I was like, there's no way. I was thinking Penn State would come out like a 2-point favorite being at home.
Urban's mad and they know it.
Yeah,
honestly, they're probably judging it based off the Appalachian State game and the Illinois game first half. but even I know that that's silly because Penn State plays this different. This is the game that has taken the place of Ohio State, Michigan State, where that was the game that decided the East. This is the game that decides the East now, unless MSU decides they want to start playing better football, because right now they're putrid. So
yeah, they don't look too good.
So it's not going to be fuck you, Scully. Get over it. We're favored.
Well, that's what you know. Over all the years I've been a Penn State fan, when you make Penn State a home dog in a big game, you usually end up winning that game straight up.
Well, and plus, again, a 4-point underdog.
Penn State
but it's still an underdog at home.
I think, I looked up.
That's the ultimate
Penn
disrespect.
State, 82% winning in a revenge game. So I don't know really if that last year's Ohio State game was, consider this game a revenge game. I mean, you might want to, but Penn State always does well in revenge games. I'm not saying they win them all, but I think a lot of people were kind of overlooking Penn State. I mean, I really do.
After the Appalachian State,
a lot of the experts.
I know Urban Meyer isn't either. He's a pissed off man right now.
Oh, absolutely. He is playing like a pissed off, or coaching like a pissed off teenager. Yeah.
Hope he don't have a heart attack.
I hope he doesn't.
Another heart attack.
Hey, if Brett McMurphy couldn't give him a heart attack, I don't know what will.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. With how is he still coaching with all of these heart problems? Because I know he's had some really serious.
He's got memory issues too now.
Yeah,
he's got memory issues too.
Yeah. No, there's not. It's not memory. It was something his old lady did that he didn't.
I want to bring that up because I have said the one thing that irks me about Urban Meyer is in a big game, he will go away from what's working. He'll forget. So I go back to Michigan State 2013 where Carlos Hyde is averaging 5 to 6 yards a carry on them, and then we just stop using Carlos Hyde. And then we on a crucial fourth down play, we run Braxton Miller around the end. We stop. Carlos Hyde could have got it easily up the gut. And when that whole memory thing comes up with this whole Brett McMurphy ordeal, I'm like, it makes so much sense now.
Let me throw this out there, Alex. I was the biggest Ohio State fan in the fucking country that lived in the state of Alabama. Well, maybe not the biggest, but I was definitely pulling for Ohio State that night against Michigan State. And you probably know why if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because if Ohio State wins, Auburn doesn't go to the national championship game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
we would have went and probably would have gotten our asses kicked because our defense sucked that year. It sucked. Getting rid of Everett Withers as one of our defensive coordinators was the best decision we ever made. Now, unfortunately, we ended up getting Chris Ash next year, and the rest was history. But unfortunately, Chris Ash decided he wanted to be a head coach, which I'm sure is the worst decision he could possibly make now.
Okay. Well, this will be the first time that I've watched both teams all the way through. I mean, I'll be switching over to Notre Dame and Stanford a little bit, but I got a feeling that the Penn State Ohio State game is going to be a better.
That's the big thing.
Oh, that's going to be a way better game. I like Notre Dame, by the way. I think they'll beat Stanford.
Well, if they do, you're going to see Notre Dame probably as high as
they have a new quarterback. Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to let y'all go.
Take care, guys.
All right, we are Penn State.
Go Bucks.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Thanks for having me on. Bye-bye.
You're someone special, you're striving for more, trying to do things better than before. You're trying harder, you're reaching so tall. You're drinking Sprite and you're giving it your all. You found more in Sprite. You found lime and you found more in you. So you keep on climbing when you're reaching for more. Reach for Sprite when you're reaching for more. Reach for Sprite.
Take it to the bank. College football predictions for Week 5. Georgia 35, Tennessee 21. West Virginia 48, Texas Tech 21. Louisville 21, Florida State 17. Florida 30, Mississippi State 20. Washington 27, BYU 17. Oregon 38, Cal 34. Oklahoma 42, Baylor 17. Michigan 31, Northwestern 14. Penn State 33, Ohio State 31. Notre Dame 34, Stanford 27. And for Friday night's game, Memphis 47, Tulane 13.
This segment is brought to you by #FamilySmack, the worst smack group ever.
Dobbs heaves it. They're bunched up in the end zone. It's tipped up. It's caught. It is caught. Javon Jennings.
Please welcome Andrea Charles, Kimberly Butts Teague, and Cam Perdue to Smacking Off the Podcast.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
much better.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is better. Should we start over now?
Yeah, let's start over now. And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. My name is Shannon. I got Doug across from me. I got two Vol chicks, and I got old Cam. And Cam's got a cam on his penis. Cam, go ahead and show us your penis.
Penis Cam, and he's a major.
Yeah.
He's a major Blue Smurf
Penis
fan.
Cam. Yeah.
Yes. He is a Blue Smurf.
Smurf turf.
He's actually a newbie. He doesn't know that you're not supposed to wear pants to the podcast.
Right.
I sort of have pants on tonight, but I don't have underwear on under them, so I'm going commando.
Excuse y'all.
Nasty.
Okay, all right. So you're semi pantsless.
Yeah, I can reach my hand up my shorts leg and touch skin, touch my meat, my meat flaps.
All right. And you
Doug?
Doug is over here chugging Diet Dr. Pepper like it's going out of style.
I thought that you guys had sworn off Dr. Pepper after Larry Culpepper got
Changed my mind.
Yeah, that shit tastes pretty good.
I changed my mind when I went to Walmart, and it was the same price as the what's the old Roy brand? What's it called?
Diet Dr. Thunder.
Yeah. When it was the same price as Dr. Thunder, that's you got to grab the Dr. Pepper then.
Absolutely, yeah. Go top shelf.
Yep.
Yeah. For the same money, hell yeah.
Yep.
I'd buy Fruit Loops instead of what is it?
Loops of fruit.
Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
Oh God!
All right, Georgia.
The question, Cam asked a question, which was, "What's it going to take?"
Yeah,
it's basically. I think Pruitt is the guy, but he's going to have to turn the whole system upside down. He's got, as Andrea was saying, there's players who have that quitter mentality. There's players who aren't giving it their all. And he's got to turn that around. The old.
Let's rewind that just a little bit because let's talk about the players having that quitter mentality. Didn't one of Tennessee's players just like up and quit in the game?
Okay.
No, he did not.
Go ahead. Let's clarify this because that's what's been going. That's the rumor going around the smack groups right now that Tennessee had a player just flat out quit.
And walk off
the field and say fuck this shit, which I thought was a great move on his part. He's probably headed to Kentucky. They're winners over there. Y'all watching Kentucky games these days, man? Those guys are balling.
Yeah, they're doing something
hardcore
over there, right? But no,
Cortez Sapp did not.
They're going to beat Tennessee. That's for goddamn sure.
I think what Kimberly's trying to say, I swear to God, I can sum this up in just a sentence.
Do it.
Pruitt has several more whiteboards to cook over on the sideline before we get this shit straight.
Yeah, right.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, well, he actually has a few players' asses to kick before.
Yeah, but you don't do that on the sideline. You want to do that in the locker room.
Yeah, they throw you off the team for that. Now, Cam, go ahead. Cam's trying to say something. Go ahead, Cam.
As far as what you have on the field right now, though, you've had talent, you've had recruits. Is it a discipline thing?
It is. It's a discipline and conditioning thing. They weren't conditioned. I mean, it's obvious some of them, don't have ball control.
Right.
I mean, Pope switching the ball around to his hand, to his other arm, so it wouldn't get tackled. Then he drops it, in the end zone. We can't make stupid mistakes like that. And they need to give the ball to the playmakers, like Juwan Jennings and this new guy Jeremy Banks. I mean, I know he fumbled some in the UTEP game, but he actually has heart and drive, and you can see it, and so does Jennings.
And Callaway, he's a big playmaker as well, Kimberly. He had, 6 carries for 80 yards or something? I mean, 6 catches for 80 yards.
So who should I be watching as a Dogs fan this week? Give me some surprise little nuggets that I could look for from Tennessee this weekend.
Yeah, how is Tennessee going to sneak up and actually...
Right.
Maybe not necessarily win the game, but at least make it a lot closer than most people, including myself, think it's going to be.
Right. Who should we be looking for?
I don't think you're going to see anything different than what you've been seeing. Their game plan is and has always been under Pruitt and Ty Helton, who, by the way, gets paid $1.2 million a year to turn this offense around. It's going to be smash mouth, run between the guards, which obviously doesn't work when you're guard. Trey Smith shouldn't be a guard. He should be out of tackle, but we don't have anyone to put in there, so he's better than what they have available. So it's just going to be running between the guard. I think they should use the fullback more and actually create better gaps. But it's going to be the same. Gaps. It is actually going to be the same as what you saw against Florida, hopefully without the turnovers. Because if you take the turnovers away, the game wasn't as ridiculous as it seemed. It's just so many shoot yourself in the foot.
Still a loss.
Hey, man, for everybody that wants to see a good game this weekend, I want to put this out there. Teams with potential like Tennessee, and they do have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But they're killing themselves. Have a tendency to put it together in games where nothing's expected of them, just like this. I've seen it over and over my entire life. I'm not saying Tennessee's going to win the game, because they're not.
But you're saying that this could potentially,
I think it's
potentially scare the shit out of Georgia, or even possibly maybe even be a trap game.
Maybe for a little while.
Yeah,
I think Georgia. I think there's going to be a lot of separation in the second half, but I think that at some point, Andrea and Kimberly are going to have their pom poms high.
Yeah,
they're not going to the game, but they'll be doing it in their living room.
No,
right?
What I want to know is because I've been reading a lot that Georgia's run defense isn't good, and that would be Tennessee's opportunity to make moves in this game.
I think Georgia's run defense is fine. It's the pass rush.
No, that's not what I've been reading, Doug.
Reading.
Well, I can tell you right now, going into the season, everybody thought the secondary was going to be an issue because they're all so young. But believe it or not, the secondary hasn't looked that bad. That run D, people have been able to run on it. It's not gashes, but they can get a good 3-4 yards here and there, and after a while, it adds up. I would like to see us stop the run better, because when I look at an Alabama, we are going to get gashed with an Alabama. So.
Everybody's going to get gashed by Alabama. Tua!
Have you taken Alabama?
Aloha, motherfuckers.
But it's the truth, and I think you got a point there, Kim. So
I think that was Andrea.
Yeah, well,
Andrea.
If we can do what we did with West Virginia, and I know we didn't win that game, but we had some good plays with some defensive turnovers. If we can actually turn the ball over to our advantage and do something with it, and have a defensive score, like we did in the other games, then we have a chance. But they've got to get the ball to playmakers. They can't, we can't run up the middle every play like we did against Florida, because it's obviously not working.
Who are those playmakers?
Yeah, tell us.
Lontae Taylor.
He's on the defense. He's the one.
But he's right. Yeah. Banks, Jennings, Callaway.
Madre London, Ty Chandler.
London,
we have playmakers. It's like you said, our recruiting wasn't bad, but
no, not even under Butch.
Right, exactly. Our recruiting wasn't bad. We have people. It's just like Jeremy Banks. You can see that he needs to add like 20 pounds. He's 6'2", 211.
I need to lose 20 pounds.
And he needs and Pruitt and someone else, I forget the coach's name, were saying, oh, you should see him in a year when we put 20 pounds of muscle on him. I mean, he already looks ripped. So, I mean, that's what their conditioning goals are, though, is to get that kind of return on their program.
I think they need performance-enhancing drugs. I think that the NCAA needs to go ahead. They really need to cut Tennessee some slack and let them cheat just a little bit. I mean, straight up, just out in the open. I think it's okay.
They need performance-enhancing drugs.
As an Alabama fan, I'm kind of not really looking forward at all to the Alabama-Tennessee game this year, and that's sad. As an Alabama fan who absolutely loves the rivalry games, Alabama-Auburn, Alabama-Tennessee, it sucks when one of them's having a down year.
For sure. I mean,
hell, Tennessee used to have Georgia's number
because we would beat the dog shit out of Tennessee over
years straight getting beat by them.
Now you've won 7 out of the last 10.
Over.
This was the biggest game, the first big game of the season every single year, and now it's just
Yeah,
and I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah.
So,
if anybody loves trains, it's me, Johnny Cash. If your boy's under 10 like mine is, he needs a big Lionel like this Black River Freight. Lionel also makes HO gauge trains for older kids, like this Burlington 181. But for smaller hands, the big Lionel is easier to handle and put on the track. This Christmas, get your boy a train that's built for the way young boys play. A big, rugged Lionel. Lionel, the big train for small hands.
Believe me, we hate it as well,
It's a temporary situation.
I think it is, too.
Well,
I mean, Tennessee...
I think it is.
Cam has pointed out time and time again, the talent's there. You definitely have the money and the resources, which is very probably the holy trifecta for a college football.
And Tennessee has played the national brand card before, and it worked.
Yeah.
I don't know how they pulled it off looking at it now, but they've definitely done the whole national brand. I mean, they were recruiting in California when Fulmer was at his peak, and they were really the national brand of the conference at that time. They were them in Florida.
We were recruiting from coast to coast back then.
That's what I said.
And up north and down south as well.
Even in Puerto Rico.
So anyway,
See.
So basically, we just have to get back. I mean, and the thing is, Tennessee fans travel. So it's good when we're good because we're good for bowl games, we're good for attendance. But as you guys saw during the Florida game, the fans are tired of a losing product, and so they're leaving early. If you can't give them something to see.
Well, now wait a minute. Wait. To be fair, though, because I had a friend of mine go to Tuscaloosa and check out Texas A&M, Alabama last week, and he said pretty much in the third quarter that a lot of the fans had left at that point. So, yeah, I mean, as an Alabama fan, I can totally understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Well, it's really hard when you're down.
That was a joke. I mean, y'all can laugh, and the whatever. Shut the fuck.
Let me just put a laugh track there.
Why are these two on here again? I like this
really
Cam guy, but these other two, I don't know about
5 minutes
this.
into the game because of turnovers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was really bad. I hate this new kickoff rule. I hate it so much. It's like it's taken away probably the most dynamic and exciting single action of the game.
Yeah, I mean, as a Tennessee fan, I guess I could see where you would say that because that's really about the only bit of excitement.
No, I love the kickoff. I love the running.
I agree with that, Andre, on this. And we're in the last days of the kickoff completely, y'all. It's not the kickoff is going away.
Right?
It's sad, but
well, I mean, think about all those 80-yard runs, 70-yard runs from the kickoff, and that's not happening as often because of this new rule.
Yeah.
And then it also taken away the special teams game. I mean, we got kickers like Antonelli that can kick it to the 1-yard line.
Right.
And I mean, that's just, it's unfortunately.
Reducing the role of the kicker can only help Saban, so.
Yeah, this is true.
So that's why this is going on.
Yeah, it could very well be. Saban may have got.
It's well documented. Saban's influence with the NCAA, his influence with refs, his influence with ESPN, with Vladimir Putin. with the state of California and Oregon and a few other states. Actually, all of them.
Well, I mean, he's got pulled with Trump too, because Trump was at the national championship
I don't know if he's a Trump guy. I really don't.
I don't know if he is either, but he apparently has pull with him.
I was.
What were you saying, Cam?
I always figured Nick
Trump's
was
a Georgia fan. You guys do know he went and got Herschel. Herschel used to babysit his kids. You know that, right?
I know that he owned the team that Herschel played for up in the USFL.
Yeah.
Donald Trump recruited him out of college, but when he was playing for Trump used to have Herschel over, and he would babysit Don Jr.
Wow.
While they go on dates or whatever. Herschel talks about it sometimes.
That's very strange. That's very, very antebellum if you think about it.
Well, Herschel was making.
Did he have to wear like a white suit and a nice little tie and everything?
he was making a lot of money, man.
Mr. Trump. Right. Don Jr. is doing great now. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He actually.
So the other thing that we have to do is we have to not have penalties. I mean, and we can't make stupid mistakes and have penalties that take away. We can't go for a first down and try a first down for 20 yards. I mean, because we've done a stupid
it could
thing.
get real ugly at that point if that starts happening. You're right, especially right out the gate. I mean, it could get really ugly really fast if that happens.
If Tennessee puts together the game of their life, I think Georgia wins by 2 touchdowns. If they don't, it's going to be a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a 40. It could be worse than last year. Let's put it that way. And that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Last year. I mean, I was there, and it was miserable.
Yeah.
Oof. Well, let's.
Especially because I had my brother-in-law, who's a dog fan, sitting a seat away from me. It was like,
oh, yelling in your ear the whole time. You see that, bitch? You see that right there? Yeah, I like that. that makes me happy inside.
Well, does anybody want to make a prediction on this game?
Yeah.
I'm sure Cam does.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Does anybody want to make a prediction on this game?
What's the score going to be, Cam? Tell us about it.
I'm gonna go. I'll go 41-14.
Yeah, that's. I'm kind of there with you on that one. It's your time to shine.
My time to shine.
Yeah. How drunk are you right now? You sound drunk tonight.
I'm sick. I'm actually hopped up on cold meds.
Get sipping on that scissor. I hear you.
Andrea, remember we talked about this. You're moving into the mode of spoiler shit talker.
Yeah, spoiler shit talker. Let's do it.
Doug Phillips, I do not need to be told my role again. I was told my role before I came on here.
You're high on cold medicine and you forgot what you were. You came on here to tell me off. So fucking do it. Come on.
Shut up, Shannon.
What you gonna do about it?
An asshole today?
I just
call me Dougie.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck who calls me an asshole.
We may not win football games, but we sure own Shannon.
Yeah, whatever.
I think it's.
Don't make me bring Russ back on the show. I'll do it. I will fucking do it.
Yeah.
We'll have the most epic intro to the segment.
Go ahead and type it in right now. Smack a delay. Jesus. There's two. There's a D. Is it two D's?
Yes.
I think it's probably gonna. They're probably gonna win by 2 or 3 touchdowns, but
more.
Shut up, Shannon.
There's going to be a lot more. I'm just telling you.
You know what?
Trying to be helpful.
Damn it. I don't think Tennessee can win by 2 or 3 touchdowns, Andrea. Come on, let's get more realistic.
He's going to win by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think Georgia is probably going to win by 21 at least. I want to see. I want to see what their new game plan is because they've been working this week specifically on ball security, which they should be working on every week, right? But from the practice, I watched some of the practice, and their guard, they were working on offensive guard, working on the guards, right? And also, did you notice that Garantano was under center a lot more with the power I formation? So they were working on snapping, long snap from, what's that called?
She is so fucked up on cold medicine right now. I love this.
You know what?
No, I am. But anyway, I want to see if they change anything up or if they just keep going ahead. Because if they change things up, then everything Pruitt has said is a lie, and I'm done.
The whiteboard's got to go. They got to get the whiteboard off the fucking sideline.
No, because he has said all along, we will play our game. We are Tennessee. We will play our game. This is what we're going to do.
Right.
Now, this week, their practice has changed. The things that they've been focusing on have changed. They've been doing...
They bring that trash can back.
No.
Yeah. They really need to... If he's going to beat the shit out of something, it needs to be that trash can. Seriously.
I think that trash can is in Bama with Butch.
No. It's not allowed here.
It's not allowed it's not allowed in the city of Tuscaloosa.
And sunk it in the bottom of the river. But anyway, so let's move on.
But I could definitely see.
Why would you throw? Whoa! Why are we advocating like littering in the rivers? First off, we need to talk about that. That's very destructive behavior. Just like throwing shit in the river.
I could see Tennessee trying to play keep away with the run game, trying to exploit the supposed weakness of the Georgia defense, which is the run defense.
Actually, they're dead last in pass rush.
Yeah, are y'all taking any of this seriously?
They're not getting to the quarterback.
She is so high right now. Why are we even? I mean, this is not real.
I'm not that high.
You are that high.
You're right. I'm not sure.
The other thing that would be nice is if we could sack from. We've been able to do some sacks on some of the other quarterbacks. I wish we had done more on Greer. But yeah, if we can do that, that's also going to help.
Well, I just think that, like the Army-Oklahoma game, if we play keep away, it might be a more interesting game, a fun
Army runs the triple option.
Yeah, so I was fixing to point
No,
that
but
out.
I know, but if we run...
So Tennessee, hey, spoiler alert, Tennessee is running the triple option this week. I think that would definitely confuse the shit out of Georgia for a minute.
Cam, you need to get on your phone and you need to call Smart right now.
You got Kirby's number, we got it. We got his hangout.
Run the ball, time of possession, field position, old school, what Pruitt has said he wants to do.
But your drunk ass.
Our audio-only podcast is hosted at podcastgarden.com/podcast/smackingOff. Or find us on Google Play Music. Or on iTunes.
Oh, Shannon.
Well, I just want to say, Kim and Andrea, I'm sorry you guys weren't able to make it. I was looking forward to tailgating with y'all this weekend.
Three-way.
I know we were looking forward to it as well.
Hot three-way action.
Fight the fight that we fight, kids.
Hot Vol on dog on Vol action. Yeah.
It wasn't the drive down they were worried about. It was the drive back.
Yeah, the drive back can be a little. Those state troopers ain't playing, y'all. You can talk that cold medicine shit all you want to. Tennessee state trooper ain't having that.
Yeah, or Georgia.
You know what it was, guys?
They're going to be drugged. They'll be headed back to Tennessee.
$800.
Yeah.
It was just we couldn't. It was just we couldn't do that.
Yeah, dropping $1,000 on that team. I feel you.
Hey, Kimberly, throw us a score prediction out.
I'm gonna say 60-21.
Ooh, shit.
Whoa. I'll take it. I'd like us to show up like that. I haven't seen that out of us yet. But
well, you know what? I've been calling close games and saying close stuff, and said that we were gonna win the Florida game by a touchdown and a field goal, and then look what the fuck happened. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm throwing it out there.
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
I'm gonna be the fucking asshole here.
Yeah,
and I don't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Doug.
I don't typically predict in these game segments, but I'm gonna throw this out there.
I'm definitely predicting on this one. What are you talking about?
Shut up, Shannon.
I can't wait to hear it.
I say Tennessee is going to put together a game that's going to blow everybody away, and it's going to be the best they played all year. And Georgia wins 35-21.
Yeah. No.
Okay. I don't. Did you guys know that Tennessee, even with all the turnovers,
56-3.
We had time of possession last against Florida. So I'm just saying, if we can keep the ball and not turn it over and have these long drives, even if we don't score, then that's keeping Georgia from scoring. It really sucks when you turn the ball over 6 times and, Florida had to go, 10 yards, 5 yards to score?
Right. Or 2.
So
because we made it 2 something.
Yeah, I mean,
Stop the run.
And all of those scenarios are great, but then again, I could also walk outside and Santa Claus could be like, shaking a big sack full of money all over and making it rain off of my roof here in just a minute. That's none of that's going to happen.
If he does,
this is going to be a completely.
Are you going to buy us something?
Completely demoralizing loss. Yeah, I'm going to personally go down to Tuscaloosa. I'm going to go to Butch Jones's what is it, janitor closet? They got him in a closet down there. Has he got his own space now, or has he still got to share the?
He hangs out at the auto shack. He's an auto detailer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, what's y'all's predictions? Doug, Shannon?
All right, so
I just said mine. Mine's 56-3. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Georgia is definitely going to try to make a pretty pointed statement about their dominance in the SEC to try to take some of the smoke off of Alabama.
I don't think Cam heard mine while ago. Is 35-21.
Yeah.
I just don't,
Doug's calling for a closer game.
I'm not sure who's who.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, guys.
He's obviously a newbie. He wore
I'm the sexy one.
All right, guys. We're fixing to hang up on y'all.
You are not the sexy one, Shannon.
Hey,
Doug is the sexy one.
Hey.
Has anybody got any parting shots?
Shannon, you're an asshole.
Yeah. Somebody go ahead and bring up Philip Fulmer. Finger fucking Kimberly Small.
Well, thanks for having me on, y'all.
Cam, we will have you back on. These other two, I'm not sure about.
For sure.
Has anybody got any parting shots?
Yeah, fuck Andrea.
Yeah, Shannon's an asshole.
Yeah, fuck Andrea. Fuck her and us. Fuck
Love you, Shannon.
God damn it, y'all fucked up our last segment.
Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the small smacking off icon at the top of the screen now. Click the link at the bottom of the screen to watch last week's episode.